Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another Daily Drop here on TarHeelIllustrated.com. I'm THI publisher Andrew Jones, and the topic today, Carolina Tar Heels football, specifically the JMU game. The Tar Heels play their final non-conference game before diving into ACC play. James Madison visits Kenan Stadium for a noon kick on Saturday. The game will air on the ACC network. After that, final 8 games, all ACC games, beginning with a trip to Duke next week. But first up, a tough opponent, one of the better G5 programs in the country. JMU's only been in the FBS for a couple of years, and it's already one of the better G5 programs out there. Incredible winning culture and tradition at the FCS level, national championships, title game appearances, 11 wins, 12 wins, just some really, really good coaches. The guy who was recently there is already doing a very good job at Indiana, the 3-0, and they just routed UCLA on the road. They have a new coach who comes in from Holy Cross. He's coached at smaller levels in the Northeast, but he's been very successful. They are 2-0. They beat Charlotte on the road by 23 points. Carolina only beat Charlotte at home by 18. And then they struggled but beat Gardner-Webb in their second game. What I'm getting into here are 3 items to watch for in the JMU game, something that we're doing every Friday before football games, 3 items to watch for. These aren't keys. They're just things to watch for in this game that you could focus on and see how they play out. The first thing is going to be eliminating explosive plays. JMU has had some mixed results offensively, only 13 points against Gardner-Webb, which is an FCS team. The Dukes have not been very good converting on third down. They haven't been very good converting on fourth down. They haven't been really consistent moving the ball down the field. But one thing they have done is they've hit on some explosive plays. 391 of JMU's 702 yards this season have come on 13 plays, 13 explosive plays. That's an average of 30.1 yards on each of those explosive plays. However, on the other 106 offensive plays, the Dukes are averaging just 2.9 yards. There's so far there's been sort of a feast or famine deal with JMU's offense. Carolina's mission, don't be the defense that gave up 8 explosives against Charlotte. Minimize the explosive plays. That's the kind of thing that will keep JMU in the game and could beat you. So keep an eye on the Tar Heels defense giving up explosive plays. JMU's quarterback, who's sort of a feast or famine guy too, is responsible for a lot of those, not just, he had a 73-yard touchdown pass. By the way, George Pettaway, former Tar Heel, has a couple of those as well. They had a receiver with a 41-yard end around, or a reverse, I believe it was. So they're going to go for those explosives. That can break you some. You can get stop, explosive play, and that can weigh on a team. Another thing to keep an eye on is Carolina's receivers. The Tar Heels are trying to figure out what they have at quarterback. When Max Johnson went down, everything changed. Now, Max wasn't great in the opener, but he started getting going in the third quarter. Perhaps by now, Max would have fully entrenched himself as a solid, above average at the least, quarterback who plays with consistency, which is what this team could use right now. If they had that, the club could win a lot of games because we've seen the defense clearly play at a higher level than it did a year ago. There's no reason to believe the defense won't, at the end of the season, have much better numbers than last season. However, they've got to figure out what they have, with Jacoby Criswell now getting back into the mix, Connor Harrell struggling a little bit. For everybody on the Jacoby bandwagon after last week, and that was an FCS team that they played, let's see what he does for a couple of weeks before we really have a good idea of what they have. But what will help the process of Connor and Jacoby get more comfortable and them jostle back and forth and figure out what they are as quarterbacks for this team is receivers have to catch the damn ball. 5 different Tar Heels had drops against Central. That's not going to help. When you've got quarterbacks, certainly in Connor's case, as confident dude as he is, he doesn't play with great confidence yet. So if he makes a nice throw, you got to catch the ball. You got to catch the ball. That helps his confidence. Same with Jacoby. I asked Mac Brown a question Monday at the press conference about, and I also asked Chip Lindsey, the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach, about Jacoby just not having pressure going in there. So he played loose. He played comfortable. He didn't seem at all unnerved by the moment. And I think a lot of that may be, and they sort of agreed, that the expectations had been gone for him. He didn't think he was going to have this opportunity. So there was almost a nothing to lose approach. Perhaps that changes now that the starting job is within grasp. So maybe he's a little tighter. Maybe he's not so loose this weekend. The last thing you need to do for a quarterback that's searching for that is drop passes. So the Tar Heels, who didn't have problems dropping them in the first 2 games, 2 total drops in the first 2 games, 5 last weekend by 5 different receivers is not good. Look for the receivers to not have drops. If they have drops, that's going to hurt a quarterback situation that is very uncertain right now. The third thing is the quarterback situation. How can it not be? How do Jacoby and Connor play? Max says they're going to go with the hot hand. Does one of them have a hot hand? Clearly, Jacoby had the hot hand against Central, but this isn't Central they're going against. JMU's offense has been a little sporadic, like I noted, but the defense has been pretty good. They've given up 13 points in 2 games. They got some athletes over there. They got some dudes that can play. They got a lot of transfers. A lot of guys have transferred down from power conferences. So Carolina's going to get tested a little bit on offense, especially if neither quarterback is hot. If they're struggling a little bit, that goes back into the receivers catching balls. You got to make plays to help your quarterback. And this might be the kind of season where the Nesbitts of the world and the McCollums of the world, if he plays this weekend, and the Pacers of the world, they need to make great plays to help their quarterbacks. And that might be what we're looking at this weekend because we just don't know. I still don't know what Connor is as a quarterback. I don't know at all what Jacoby is. We think we have a little bit of an idea, but we don't have a great one, and the staff doesn't either. And they see him every day. If they knew, I think there would be an entrenched starter. If they knew that Jacoby was clearly better than Connor, then perhaps Jacoby would have been in the mix sooner, and he wasn't. Now, there were other factors at play, but the bottom line is, hey, let's give Jacoby a shot because Connor hadn't corralled that job. So another thing to watch, obviously, is how do these 2 guys play? Who starts? If Connor starts again, Jacoby likely gets the 3rd series, which was the plan last week. If Jacoby starts, does Connor get the 3rd series? What if Jacoby starts and he leads him to 2 straight touchdown drives? Do they give Connor that 3rd series? Is that promised? If Connor goes in and leads him to a touchdown, they just go back and forth? It's going to be really, really interesting to watch how the staff uses them, how they play, and does Jacoby play as loose and comfortable this weekend as he did last weekend? Those are 3 items to watch. There's a lot there, a lot to pack in, but those are 3 things for you guys to really keep a keen eye on Saturday when the Tar Heels host James Madison at Kenan Stadium. If you're excited about this game, excited about these 3 things to keep an eye on, go ahead and click like on this video. If you have not subscribed to our channel, please do so. Go ahead and do that now. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you get updates every time we upload, and tell every Carolina Tar Heel friend you know, not only about our channel, but about TarHeelIllustrated.com. If you haven't subscribed, maybe they want to. It's only $8.33 a month for a 1-year subscription. You can't beat it, guys. That's less than any drive-through meal, basically, at any drive-through restaurant these days. I'm AJ, and thank you for stopping by.